Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to XPAD Live. In the previous 3 episodes, we've covered everything from design philosophy, vertical takeoff and landing capabilities, the Hypermind AI brain, to the mobile launch and recovery system that has completely changed the way air forces are deployed. After dissecting the XPAD launch and recovery system in episode 3, tonight we move to a far larger question. The question is no longer how XPAD takes off or lands, but what kind of long-term architecture XPAD is built upon. Shield AI does not view XPAD as a standalone product. They see it as the final expression of a multi-stage strategy, executed through 4 clearly defined phases. Phase 1 is about proving the foundation. The core objective is not weapons, but demonstrating that an AI system can operate fully autonomously on unmanned platforms. No GPS, no continuous communications, no human decision-making in real time. This phase establishes the reality of true AI pilots. Phase 2 expands that same AI brain across multiple platforms, from unmanned aircraft to jet-powered systems to maritime and ground vehicles. AI is no longer tied to a single airframe, but becomes a transferable combat intelligence across domains. Phase 3 is about scale. Not dozens or hundreds of AI pilots, but hundreds of millions, operating simultaneously in the air, at sea, on land, and in space. This is where warfare shifts from individual assets to adaptive ecosystems. And Phase 4 is XPAD itself. Not merely a new combat aircraft, but a complete redefinition of air power. A force that is distributed, autonomous, infinitely scalable, and no longer dependent on runways or fixed bases. In episode 4, we will examine each of these phases in detail. What weapons XPAD can carry, what missions it is designed to perform, and how it operates both alongside manned aircraft and as a fully independent combat system.
When we look back at the 4 development phases of XPAD, the most important element is not the timeline, but the new warfighting capabilities that emerge after each phase. Phase 1 was not about firepower. It was about answering a fundamental question. Can an AI system conduct combat operations autonomously without GPS, without communications, and without human intervention? Once that question was answered, a new capability emerged. The ability to sustain military power inside a fully contested, jammed environment. Phase 2 was not simply about expanding platforms. It marked the transition from a single vehicle to a unified combat ecosystem. The same AI core operating across multiple platforms, allowing forces to coordinate across air, sea, and land without fragmented command structures. At this point, warfare shifts from separated domains to a continuous, AI-coordinated operational flow. Phase 3 introduced scale. Combat power was no longer constrained by pilot availability, training pipelines, or human endurance. Hundreds of millions of AI pilots could be deployed simultaneously across multiple operational domains. Here, dominance is no longer defined by individual platforms, but by density of presence and persistent coverage of the battle space. Phase 4 represents a conceptual shift. Air power is no longer defined by air bases, runways, or human pilots. It becomes a distributed, mobile network that is always present and extremely difficult to neutralize. When these 4 phases are combined, XPAD is no longer just an aircraft. It becomes a mechanism for reshaping air warfare, where combat effectiveness is determined by autonomy, scale, and decision speed, rather than human biological limits. And it is precisely at this point that a new question begins to emerge.
Once XPAD's development phases are complete, the central question is no longer how XPAD is designed, but how XPAD is employed in real combat operations. XPAD is fundamentally built to perform missions where humans are no longer the optimal choice. These are missions that are prolonged, high risk, and require continuous decision-making inside heavily contested environments. In airspace control and defense roles, XPAD can be assigned a defined zone and maintain persistent presence without aerial refueling and without pilot rotation. It does not fatigue, it does not lose focus, and it is not constrained by human flight hour limits. In intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions, XBAT does more than collect data. It analyzes situations autonomously, detects abnormal patterns, and evaluates threat levels before information even reaches command authorities. This dramatically shortens the gap between detection and response. At a higher operational level, XBAT can participate in coordinated strike operations, working alongside manned aircraft. In this model, human pilots are no longer exposed to the most dangerous threat envelopes. XBAT moves forward, opens corridors, disrupts defenses, and absorbs risk. When required, XBAT can also operate fully independently, especially in scenarios where communications are disrupted or centralized command is unavailable. In such cases, AI is no longer a support tool, but the primary decision maker. Most importantly, XBAT allows military planners to design missions around capabilities rather than human limitations. At that moment, the very approach to warfare begins to change at its foundation. And this brings us directly to the next critical question. If XBAT can perform such a wide range of missions, what specific combat capabilities enable it to do so?
When discussing XBAT's weapons, the key point is not a checklist of munitions. The core issue is how those weapons are employed in modern warfare. XBAT is designed to carry a full spectrum of air-to-air, air-to-ground, and long-range precision strike weapons, fully compatible with US and Allied arsenals. Unlike manned aircraft, however, XBAT does not carry weapons for direct confrontation. It carries weapons to control the tempo of the battlefield. In air defense and air superiority missions, XBAT can conduct persistent patrols, detect targets, perform friend or foe identification, and engage according to rules of engagement without continuous human input. In ground attack missions, XBAT is used against high-value, high-risk targets, radar sites, missile launchers, forward command nodes. Here, XBAT does not replace pilots. It moves ahead to reduce human exposure to danger. XBAT can also be equipped with electronic warfare systems, disrupting enemy radar, blinding sensors, and opening safe corridors for follow-on forces. In more complex scenarios, XBAT operates in swarm formations. Some units act as sensors, others carry weapons, others specialize in electronic disruption. The entire formation functions as a single coordinated system without step-by-step human control. Most importantly, XBAT enables the separation of risk from human life. Weapons are deployed without placing pilots on the front line. And that represents a fundamental shift in how air power is applied.
This concludes episode 4 of XPAD Live. Together, we have explored the core combat capabilities that make XPAD one of the most formidable deterrence platforms the world has ever seen. XPAD is not just a weapon. XPAD represents a fundamental shift in how air warfare is conceived. In episode 5, we will address a much larger question: why the emergence of XPAD could force many nations to revise, or even rewrite, their military doctrines over the next decade. If you found this analysis valuable, please like, subscribe, and enable notifications. Your support is the driving force that allows Hai to continue delivering deep, strategic insights in every episode of XPAD Live. I'm Hai. Thank you sincerely for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in episode